Hey YouTube, it's Jonathan, and today we are taking on the Faux Freckles trend. I've done this a few times in a few videos in the past, but I've never really focused on it that I can remember. So today's look is going to be very minimal, and I'm going to focus on adding in some natural looking faux freckles. And there's a few ways you can do this, and I'll talk more about that when I get to the actual application of the freckles. You can obviously add faux freckles to any look that you want. I think they look best on a light, kind of dewy, summery, bronzy makeup with very fresh and almost glossy skin. I think they look the most natural then. To prime my skin, I'm actually going to use a serum. This is the Advanced Genifique from Lancome. I've used this serum as part of my skincare routine for quite a while, and I've actually just been using it out of order as my primer recently, and I really like the way it gives my skin glow that lasts all day. And even though I'm not having the best skin of life, I am going to just use concealer instead of an actual foundation. This is the Bare Skin Concealer from Bare Minerals. You all know this is my favorite one for when I'm not going to wear a full face of foundation and I just need to cover some key areas. I'm going to apply this underneath my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, and over some areas of redness. I'm going to blend that in with a pointed foundation brush. You could use your fingertips for this as well, or a beauty blender if you prefer. To cover any spots and blemishes, I've just put a little bit of the same concealer on the back of my hand. I don't want to keep dipping it in and applying it over spots, so I just kind of put it on the back of my hand to keep it as clean as possible. And I'm going to use a tiny eyeliner brush, sort of in the Lisa Eldridge method, and just go over any spots. Some of these spots need more coverage than others, so I'm just going to let some of it sit and hang out for a while on my face to build or to dry a little bit. It's going to provide more coverage that way before I go ahead and blend that out with a fluffy brush. While the bigger spots are hanging out and building that coverage, I'm going to go ahead and fill in my brows with my IT Cosmetics Brow Power Super Skinny Pencil in Universal Blonde. That's probably the longest product name in the history of life, but this is currently my natural brow option. I have some darker pencils for when I like to do a more full defined brow, but for every day, this is sort of what I'm reaching for. That's brows on, and I'm feeling much better now. I'm gonna go in and pat out that concealer that I've been letting sit on my larger areas of breakout, and I'm just patting around with this fluffy brush from Real Techniques. That's the concealing all blended out. To keep this look nice and fresh, I'm using one of the Josie Maran Coconut Watercolor Cheeks. This is a kind of almost transparent kind of color, and it looks pretty dark in the jar. You can see here it looks like a dark cranberry kind of color, but as you apply it to the cheek and blend it out, it just goes a very sheer wash of pink. To bronze up my skin, I'm using what I've been using as my mirror this whole time. This is the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze, and I'm just going to use a fluffy Real Techniques brush and sort of hit the perimeters of my face and down onto my neck. For eyes, all I'm going to do is focus on the lashes. I'm just going to curl them and then use a coat of my brown waterproof Definicils mascara. Keeping the lips super simple with a swipe of the Clarins Instant Light Natural Lip Perfector in the shade 1. And this product is super new for me. This is actually my first time wearing it, and I actually really like the way that it turns out. Now onto the star of the show. For my faux freckles today, I'm going to be using the Lancome Sourcil Tint in the shade 01 Blonde. I bought this for my brows, and it's just not the right color. And for this, I'm going to zoom the camera in a little bit. Since my freckles naturally start on my nose, I'm going to start with just a few dots on my nose. And you don't want this to be perfect. You don't want everything to be exactly the same size and exactly the same distance apart. Freckles naturally are going to look a little bit more dispersed in some areas and closer together in some areas, and they're not all going to be exactly the same size, so just keep it random and don't think too hard about it. I'm going to tap with my finger over them immediately after applying them so that they soften up a little bit. Sometimes you can push a little too hard and they come out a little bit too pronounced at first, so kind of just go slow. And just think about where the sun would naturally hit your face and where freckles would naturally occur for you. I feel like this is also a great tip for someone who naturally has freckles but likes a full coverage foundation because maybe they have redness or acne and they want to look a little bit more natural. This would be a great way to add a little bit of natural back into a full coverage foundation. And I like to take a few up out into my temple area because I naturally will get a few freckles out there. And I'm not coloring little circles, I'm just dotting this product barely. And you can use really any brow product. I find that brow products are sort of best for this, or even kind of a darker nude lip liner would work as well, as long as it's a fine enough point. but I've done this with Anastasia Dip Brow. I've done this with Aqua Brow from Makeup Forever. I've done it with my Brow Wiz in multiple colors. It's all about finding the right color for your skin tone, and all about what application you prefer. And once you sort of get a base layer in, you can kind of draw in a few darker ones. I'm even gonna put a few sort of up on my forehead and around my brow. And here is the finished look all pulled together. I hope you all enjoyed this. Again, you don't have to use this trend in this exact way. You can do faux freckles with any combination of looks or a thicker foundation or whatever you prefer. This is just my favorite way to kind of showcase this feature. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you have any questions about techniques or products that you might use for this. And I try to reply to as many comments as humanly possible, so go ahead and leave those down there. Open up the description box as well so that you can see a link to every product that I used for this look, as well as some links to other products that I think would be great for doing the faux freckle trend. While you're in the description box, make sure you check out the links to my social media, because you can check me out on Facebook. You can also check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. All of those things are at JonJonTalks. Click on my freckled face now if you want to be subscribed to my channel and you're not already, and I will see you all next time. Bye!